Sunday, friends, and welcome back to Italian Chocolate Homestead. I'm Erica. Welcome if you're new to my channel. If you can tell by the t-shirt that I'm wearing today, today's video is my top 10 reflection from our recent trip to Waco, Texas to visit the Magnolia Silos. October is my birthday. Shout out to all the Libras who might be watching today. I turned 46 this year, and my husband and I discussed a dream vacation that I wanted to take, and I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to attend Silobration 2023. So for those who may not be familiar with Chip and Joanna Gaines, the Magnolia Network, the Magnolia Silos, all things design and decor, fixer-upper, their show on HGTV. Chip and Joanna have been in business now for 20 years, and for the last 8 years, they have been hosting this event called Silobration at the Magnolia Silos in Waco, Texas. And so we decided this year to take the weekend to go down and to see everything there was to see. You guys, this trip was amazing. This video could literally be an hour long if I wanted to, just to talk about all of the individual experiences that I had that I felt like were so important. But I really narrowed this down to 10 things that I enjoyed, that surprised me, that really kind of made this trip even more than what I expected it to be. And forgive me if you see me glancing down at my phone, but I made some notes so that I would make sure not to get off task as I'm talking through these things. So let's just jump right in and start. Number 10 on this list is free entry or free and inexpensive parking. So one of the things that really surprised me about this event is that they did not charge an entry fee. Most large scale events, especially for a business as successful as Magnolia, you would expect that there would be some sort of entry fee or ticket fee to attend, but there was not. It was completely free and open to the public to attend all 3 days of the Silobration. In addition, there was a lot of free parking or very inexpensive parking. So if you have not been to the silos, it takes up about a square mile in the center of Waco, in between Clay and 6th and 8th Avenues. So Clay Avenue's on one side, Webster Avenue on the other, 6th and 8th Street kind of cross in between the silos. And so all around the perimeter of the silos is free on-street parking. In addition, there were a lot of local churches that were offering very inexpensive parking. We parked at the same church, First Baptist Church of Waco, every day that we went down, and they only charged us $10 a day, which I thought was extremely reasonable. And we were probably maybe 750 feet, 1,000 feet from, an entry point into the silos. And so it was really, really close. Really enjoyed that because I feel like it made the experience approachable for all people. You know how sometimes with certain like bands or certain brands or, things that you love, at a certain point they become exclusive or kind of, price you out of the market. I really feel like there is this goal of Chip and Joanna's to continue to remain approachable, to continue to remain part of the city infrastructure in Waco. And so I love that everything is just free and open to the public. The grounds are open 6 days a week, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then the stores on the property are open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and they are closed on Sundays. So, all right, free and entry and free inexpensive parking was number 10. Let's go now to number 9, which were the grounds food options. There were a ton of vegan, vegetarian, and gluten-free friendly options. So for those of you who are like me, who have some food sensitivities, this is a trip that is not leaving you out. Let's start with the Silos Bakery Company. They have a ton of vegan, vegetarian, and gluten-free cookies and cupcake options, as well as coffee options at the Magnolia Press that are also vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free friendly. So tons of food options of things that you can enjoy. The restaurant or the food truck that I absolutely fell in love with is called Club Sandwich. And you might think by that name, oh, they sell sandwiches. Actually, no, it's Asian fusion bowls. It's amazing. So you start with a base of all rice, all cabbage, or a mix of rice and cabbage, and then you can choose your meat option, or it can be a totally vegan bowl, vegetarian bowl. You add all of your vegetables, your toppings, and your sauces. It's absolutely amazing. If you go, have to eat a club sandwich, and it's awesome. You get a nice big bowl for $10, which I thought, again, was very, very reasonable. So, number 9, definitely the food on the property. It's not leaving you out, so don't feel like, oh, if I have some issues, I've got to bring my own food. You absolutely don't. Number 8, prices of basic items in the Magnolia branded stores. Now, for those of you who may be familiar, who shop Hearth and Hand, which is Joanna's line at Target, or if you've shopped Magnolia on the Magnolia app online, you've noted that their prices are pretty reasonable. But I expected to a certain extent to see a markup at this event, again, because you're going to have, people coming in from all over the country, all over the world. Shout out to the group that we met from South Korea, by the way. Yes, South Korea. So totally amazing, the pull and the reach of Magnolia. But I think I expected a little bit of a markup, or I expected to see that, it's Christmas items or things like that might be a tad bit more pricey. But I was really, really surprised with the affordability of many of the things that they have in house. They actually have both a sales shop and what they call a scratch and dent section, which is filled with all of the floor model items that they have used over time to sell particular brands. And so if you want to walk out and not spend a ton of money, it is possible to do that. But it is also possible to go in and spend a lot of money as well, if that's something that you're planning to do. The Magnolia flagship store, which is basically their decor store. And so there you're going to find most of your household, kitchen, dining, basic decor pieces, candles, tea towels, things like that. And then there's the Magnolia home store, which is their furniture store. I would say that the furniture store is definitely a little more pricey than the Magnolia flagship store. But even in the Magnolia home store, I felt like there were some items in that store that were fairly reasonably priced. I bought a vase. You guys will see that when we start decorating for Christmas. I also bought a glass bottle for using to display coffee beans. You'll see that as well when we start to decorate for Christmas. And then I bought some Christmas stems. Again, all of those things I felt like were very reasonably priced, and I did not feel in any way that they were attempting to try to price gouge us or to, artificially inflate prices just because they knew the crowds would be large. And so that's something that I really, really enjoyed. All right, number 7, the people connections. I cannot say enough that every stage of this trip, we met someone that was a totally God-influenced connection. From the gentleman that my husband sat next to in our connection from Nashville, to the 89-year-old woman, Mary Beth, that we met at the luggage carousel when we first arrived into Dallas, to folks that we met in our hotel, standing in line while we were waiting for the event at Chip and Joe, eating lunch, no matter what we were doing. Everywhere we went, we kept meeting people. And we really just felt like these connections were just God influenced or God breathed. We had the opportunity to share our faith. We had the opportunity to pray with people. And so it was just such an amazing opportunity. I went there expecting that it was going to be great for my emotional and mental health, because I was getting the chance to decompress and do something that I absolutely love, which is learn more about design and decor and surround myself with beautiful things. But I did not realize how much of a spiritual influence this trip would be on me. And so I was just really, really thankful for every opportunity that we had to connect with every person that we outreach to. Just in case they're watching, shout out to Robin and to Justine. It was a pleasure to meet you guys, and I hope you ladies are doing well. All right, that was people connections. Number 6, and I can't say enough about number 6, because as a person with a physical disability, I find myself many times feeling super uncomfortable or being forgotten in spaces, tourist spaces such as this. but the handicapped accessibility of the silos is completely unmatched. You guys, it is, again, about a square mile, but it is surrounded by flat streets on all sides. There are tons of open grounds where, you know, you can easily step up using crutches, a cane, a walker, even a wheelchair. There's, you know, lots of space so that you don't feel like you're being crowded or walked on top of. One of the things that can be very difficult in tourist spaces as a person with a disability is that the crowds close in on you because people are not paying attention. A lot of times people are on their cell phones, they're talking, they're doing other things, and so they're not realizing that they're kind of encroaching on your personal space. And when you use an assistive device, you need a little more space than the average human. But I never felt encroached upon. I never felt crowded against. Actually, I felt the opposite, that people saw me, they recognized me, people opened doors for me. They made sure that I was okay, that I didn't trip and fall. I just felt like this was an opportunity, again, where Chip and Joanna showed their hospitality or showed the fact that they are attempting to try to build a space that is inclusive of everyone, including, you know, families with young children, because you may have a large stroller or, you know, a big, I almost said wheelbarrow, but a big wagon, right? That you're bringing your children in or whatever. And then again, like me, people with assistive devices. And so do not feel like, again, if you have some sort of physical limitation, that this was not a trip that you could make, because you actually could. Even in the stores that have 2 floors, there are elevators, they're very easily accessible, and they had porters on hand. So people that were there helping people, you know, onto the elevators, answering questions, that kind of thing. It was a really, really great experience. Can't say enough about that. Shout out to Chip and Jo for the extra work that I know that you all put forward, working with a consultant, thinking about all the things that you had to do in order to ensure that that place was fully accessible. All right, number 5. I know we talked a little bit about food already, but the Magnolia table deserves its own shout out on this top 10 list. This is the best restaurant breakfast I have ever had in my entire life. First of all, I'm telling you, I'm a breakfast connoisseur. It is my favorite meal. I will eat it any time of day, pretty much anywhere. I've done, you know, dive restaurant breakfast. I've also done very high-end restaurant breakfast. I will tell you, hands down, Magnolia Table, the best restaurant breakfast I have ever had. Their biscuits with the strawberry butter is to die for. I mean, I was full just from the biscuits, right? And then I still had an entire meal after that. And so it was so great because, you know, we obviously did have extras, leftovers, brought those back to the hotel. We ate leftovers for dinner later that night, but it was just a great experience. The restaurant is such wonderful atmosphere. I love how it's set up. It's so bright and light and airy, but the staff was amazing. Shout out to Eric, who was our waiter. He did a phenomenal job. We went on an app. Is it called Open Table? Is that the name of the app? You guys might know what I'm talking about, but we went online to make our reservation. And then, you know, we showed up about 15 minutes, well, maybe 20 minutes before our reservation time, and they were actually able to get us in early, which was great. I have heard that if you want to get in and not have to wait an exorbitant amount of time for a table, take the opportunity to make an online reservation. Don't just show up, because the wait could be 2 to 3 hours for a table without a reservation. They're only open from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. every day. And what I've heard from locals is that they usually start turning people away about 1:15, because based on the amount of reservations that they have and already walk-ins that are waiting, many times they know they won't be able to get through every group that would like to have a table before they close at 3 p.m. So again, when you visit, make sure that you get that online reservation to Magnolia Table, but please make sure that you start whatever meal you have with the order of biscuits and the strawberry butter. You will not regret it. All right, number 4 are the vendors. Now, we went there originally to do most of our shopping in the Magnolia stores, but let me tell you, I was so impressed by the selection of vendors that they had. these were artisans and makers. And so these were not people who were in the resale business. Those of you who have been around design and decor for a while, you know, many times when you go to vendor shows, it can be a mix of artisans and makers, but it can also be a mix of what are basically resale businesses, where they're going out and buying things in mass like Amazon does, and they're reselling them at a markup, which there's nothing wrong with that. But when I go to a space like the Magnolia Silos, or when I go to a specialty vendor show, I really want to see something that I know that I can't walk into a random Marshall's or Target or Home Goods or At Home or Kirkland's or wherever and buy those things, or go on Amazon and buy those things. And so I was so impressed with the artisans and the makers that were there. Again, shout out to Joe in your approach on how you are sourcing your vendors. We talked to pretty much every vendor that was there. A lot of them have done multiple shows during the Silobration. Many of them have done all 8 Silobrations. And so it was just a really, really nice opportunity. There were some new vendors there that said that they had gotten like a special invitation to be part of this Silobration. And so I can't imagine how exciting that is for your business, that you've caught on, or you have a certain following to a certain extent, or Joanna saw something in what it is that you do to invite you. I was also impressed with the amount of minority-owned and women-owned businesses that were there. Shout out to the ladies who are running the minority-owned businesses. I want to take a second and shout out the plant project. I am so saddened that I didn't get the chance to buy a plant from you. I was really nervous about bringing a plant on the plane. It's not something I had ever done before, and so I was really, really sad about it. But then I go back now and I kind of kick myself for not just taking the plunge and being like, I'm gonna buy succulent anyway. We'll get it home. But the plant project was there. She's great. You can look her up online. She's actually the first Black female-owned plant business in the city of Waco, Texas. And so she's amazing. Really, really great. Also, shout out to Adjourn. We met the owner and her husband at Adjourn. We bought some amazing teas. You guys, I'm gonna do a whole separate video just of us making black tea lattes. This tea is phenomenal, phenomenal. All, organic, all natural ingredients. She makes these herself, and everything is just so intentional about her packing, about her packaging, about her approach. She was just phenomenal to me. So excited about this project, or about this product. Definitely going to share more with you in another video, but just want to show really quickly a couple things we did pick up. For those of you who don't know me well, I am a huge pen and paper girl, so I love good pens. I love markers, pencils, love paper. There were a ton of paper artisans there. Wanted to shout out January Letterpress. They are from Waco, Texas. You guys, if you're not using a daily planner sheet in your life, I don't even know what you're doing, okay? These things are amazing. I love them because you can basically just go through. It's got your day planned out for you on one side. It's got a to-do list, and then generally a box where you can, put extra notes or like shopping carts and things as you need them, if you can see this. And so I am looking forward to breaking into this. I'm just finishing up my other daily plan booklet. I've got a week left. And so I can't wait to break into this new daily planner from January Letterpress. I actually love them as well because I bought this cute little sticker from their booth. It says send more snail mail. Is that not the most adorable thing? I love a good kitschy sticker, a button, just little fun sayings. And so this was so cute. Absolutely enjoyed their booth as well. I also want to shout out One Canoe too. We did purchase some items from them. I purchased this beautiful Magnolia tea towel. They actually have artisans who hand paint their designs, and then they go back and print those hand painted designs on the material, and that's how they make their tea towels. But this is the one that I purchased. I absolutely love it. If you guys saw the reel that I posted yesterday of like fall, I think it's called like fall decor 3 ways. I did a vignette that I called Magnolia Excellence using this tea towel, and so absolutely loved it. But my husband entered me in a contest that they were having, and I actually won some items from their vendor booth as well. So I got this additional kitchen towel that's more woodland inspired. I think this will be great to use during like the Easter season. As you can see, it's got bunnies and raccoons and all kinds of plants all over it. It's really, really pretty. I got this puzzle from them as well. It's a cute little 500 piece puzzle that talks about different plants and animals. I also got a gratitude journal. Again, you guys know I love paper, love the ability to be able to write and kind of dream and design. And so this is gorgeous. This is definitely my kind of space, my kind of jam. Love this. And then I got a pack of pencils. It's a set of 9 pencils, and if you can see, these are all some more of their hand-painted designs that they use to create these pencils. Again, everything is made in the United States. They are, you know, just a really, really great brand. Another woman-owned business, so I was really, really happy to support them and grateful to win those items. So shout out to One Canoe too for everything. This other really cute little sticker I purchased for my mom. My mom is a collector of magnets, and I wanted to do something a little bit different. So this is actually a sticker, but if you note, it's like in every state, it takes an opportunity to like highlight what that state is known for. I thought that was really, really pretty. This was only $5. Such a cute little way to kind of commemorate the trip for my mom. This came from one of their vendors, Waypoint Wanderers. So shout out to them. Super nice to meet you guys. So much more that I could talk about as it relates to vendors, as you can see, and I'll be doing some follow-up videos. There are a couple of vendors that I want to interview personally so that you guys know more about them. They're actually from Pennsylvania. We met a ton of people from Pennsylvania while we were there, and so we want to highlight local business in our area so that you guys can support, and then also just want to talk more about the wonderful things we saw. All right, 3 more things on this list and we will be done. Number 3 is the Evening with Chip and Jo event. So the one thing, I guess you could say, that was a purchase item, which again was not required to participate, they on Friday night and Saturday night hosted an evening event after the silos closed called An Evening with Chip and Jo. And so this was kind of an opportunity for folks who bought tickets to come and listen to Chip and Joanna talk about the 20 years of Magnolia, how they started their business, what the goals of their business were, and the things that they've learned or that they've loved about being in business and what they see for their future. You guys, I cannot tell you how amazing the evening event was. It was phenomenal to hear them tell their story, to hear them share their personal testimony, to see them bless a couple in the audience with $26,000. I'll have to post a separate video about that story and how that came together. And then the night closed with a concert with Johnny Swim. If you guys aren't familiar with Johnny Swim, Amanda and Abner, they actually have a show on the Magnolia Network called In the Kitchen with Abner and Amanda, I think it's called. And then they also have a show that talks about their band, Johnny Swim. They're amazing. They were great. The whole evening was wonderful. And even my husband, who had no clue who Johnny Swim was, totally enjoyed the show. So it was a great, great night. Can't shout that out enough. Again, had handicapped accessibility, separate entrance for ADA access, separate space where there was seating on lawn seating for those who needed ADA access. And so that was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. Number 2 on this list is the hospitality. I cannot say enough about how hospitable the folks who work for Magnolia are. Everyone smiling, greeting, being willing to help, being willing to answer questions. And I know that these people were exhausted. I mean, the level to set up for an event of this magnitude and this size. So they have probably been working late hours for weeks before. And then they're working straight through basically 72 hours, right? Setting up, tearing down, restocking shelves every night as people are shopping, cooking more food, getting ready for all the things, cleaning the grounds, all this stuff. The people were just so kind and so lovely and so nice. Again, I can't say enough about the elevator porters, the help that they had there. Other staff, they had staff, posted in and outside of bathrooms to help people who might need assistance. There was staff always roaming the grounds, smiling, willing to answer a question, willing to give directions. It was just a really phenomenal experience from a hospitality perspective. And so I cannot shout out their staff training enough to just keep people on the straight and narrow and understanding what your values are, understanding what the mission of your organization is, and that people were willing to do everything that was in their power in order to put a really good foot forward. All right, here we go. Number one on this list, as you might expect, was the decor inspiration. This was the main reason that I wanted to go on this trip. As you guys know, over the past few years, as Evan and I have walked through this new construction home process and turning our new build into our actual home, the place that we are calling our forever home, I have been seeking and craving as much decor inspiration as I can find. And, I fell into the trap of YouTube, during the pandemic and started watching people who were constructing homes, getting ideas, learning more about, design and decor. But I have always been a fan of Fixer Upper, always been a fan of Joanna's work. I just think what she does is beautiful. It's inspirational. It's homey. And that's what I'm always looking for. How do I make a place feel homey? I didn't want my home to feel cold. I didn't want my home to feel like no one lives here, but I did want my home to feel like I respect it. I love it. I know what it's here for, but it's here to make people feel like you can come here and be safe. You can come here and be loved. You can come here and be well fed. You're going to come here and laugh and have a good time. And I just felt like every time we walked into one of her spaces, that's exactly what I felt. Everything felt homey. It felt purposeful. And that's one of the things that I'm hoping to learn more through this process, is how to make the decor in my home purposeful. I don't just want to have things here for the sake of having things. The thing needs to have a purpose. It's either something I'm going to use, something that is beautiful, that creates an emotion for me that I want to continue to feel, or something that is here to help those who would be in my space. You guys have heard me talk about this before, but it's that idea of dopamine decor, right? And so I want my home to enact feelings of love, care, and just hominess when people are in my space. And so I felt that in everything that I saw Joe do. I took so many pictures of place settings and kitchen setups and cabinets and color schemes, because as we are starting to, go through now all 4 seasons in this space, we moved in on Good Friday. And so, we were here for, late spring and all of summer. This is the first time I've decorated for fall. This will be the first decoration for Christmas. And as I'm starting to roll back through to, the next years moving forward, I'm really looking for ways to kind of reset my home to a baseline, so that as I'm adding and shifting decor from season to season or from holiday to holiday, again, that everything feels purposeful. So I can't say enough about just what I learned, how many notes I took, right? And the things that I'm just looking forward to doing in my own space. Well, I hope this top 10 list was really helpful to you. I can't say enough about planning your own trip to the silos. You may not have thought about ever wanting to go there, but can I just say, if you are a lover of design, if you are a lover of decor, if you're a lover of things that are beautiful, if you just love spaces that make you feel good, the Silos is the place to be. It's also Texas, and so most of the time when you go, it's going to be pretty warm. The locals did say that, probably want to shy away from late July, early August. that's when it's the hottest. This past year, they said that they had about 2.5 weeks where the temperatures were consistently over 100 degrees. And so since most of the markets are outside, that might not be the best time to go unless you are a lover of, sweating or all things heat. But otherwise, let me recommend fall. Like I said, we were just there, about 10 days ago. The weather was beautiful, somewhere between 85 and like 89 most days. Really comfortable to walk outside. And because, we had left super cold temperatures here in PA, it felt wonderful to be there. I just can't say enough about this trip. I'm sure you've seen the reels and the pictures that I've posted on Facebook and Instagram. If you're not following me, by the way, on Instagram, definitely do that. You're going to get more of the day-to-day stuff that's going on in our lives, just things that I'm working on. My Instagram handle is the same as YouTube at Italian Chocolate Homestead. But thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope you learned something. I hope you take away some amazing inspiration to go and have your own experience at the silos. I'll be back, you guys, next week. We're going to start talking about Christmas decor. It is time. If you haven't already started shopping, you've got to get in it because the Christmas decor is going to disappear. We're going to be back next Sunday to talk about how we're preparing to decorate the homestead for Christmas. Love you guys so much. Have a wonderful week. Take care. Bye-bye.